fun fact, I actually do move into college in like 2 weeks, and I actually haven't started packing anything, but I did spend like a good hour picking out which books I wanted to bring with me, so I think I have my priorities straight. Hey y'all, what's up? I'm Sabrina and welcome back to my book nest. So I may or may not have taken another brief hiatus from this channel. Sorry about that. I've been kind of all over the place, to be honest. I went to the beach for a week with my friends as kind of like a senior grad trip. I went to 2 different concerts. I went to Faye Webster and I went to Maggie Rogers within like the same week, and then I went to China for 2 weeks, so I was literally out of the country. And I've also just been kind of like working a lot, so I haven't really had time to like sit down and make a video, but I actually have been reading quite a bit, which I'm very proud of. Today I decided to do a video on which books I'm bringing with me to college because I saw like this other girl on my TikTok For You page do it, and I thought it'd be really fun to just kind of go through everything because, a fun fact, I actually do move into college in like 2 weeks, and I actually haven't started packing anything, but I did spend like a good hour picking out which books I wanted to bring with me, so I think I have my priorities straight. I'm going to school literally 30 minutes away from my house, so I'm not really like that worried about being separated from my bookshelf because literally she's so beautiful. I don't want to leave her behind, but I'm literally like, I can just pop by whenever and grab a book. So the books that I'm bringing with me are kind of just more like favorites of mine and ones that I like to reread a lot or talk about. So half of them are like my favorites, half of them are books that are just kind of like up next on my TBR. I also just wanted to spring an idea on you guys. You know, if you guys ever want to see like a possible dorm room tour or like a day in my life in college in the future, let me know. Before I start the video, I do want to mention, like, I went to Barnes & Noble earlier today and I bought another Kazuo Ishiguro book because, fun fact, the last 2 books I read have been Kazuo Ishiguro books. I read Never Let Me Go and I read Claire in the Sun, and they've actually like taken over my mind. I've completely lost my mind. Every single time I finish one of his books, I've just sat on my bed staring at the wall for like 30 minutes because I just cannot process it. I don't usually read science fiction or like a lot of dystopian books, but I read Never Let Me Go because I saw it was on the New York Times Top 100 list, and I was like, I should probably read it because it's been sitting on my shelf forever. And when I finally read it, I was like, holy fucking shit, and I literally spiraled. And so I had to get another Ishiguro book today. Obviously, I'm not bringing this with me to college. I'm planning on reading this in the 2 weeks before I move in because I've been whipping through his books pretty fast. I was debating between this book and Nocturnes, which I know is his short story collection, but because I just recently purchased a short story collection like a couple days ago, I didn't really want to purchase another one. So yeah, without further ado, I think I'm just gonna get started and get into the list. So the first book I'm bringing with me is The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. So I have read this book before. I actually read it about 3 years ago for the first time my sophomore year, and the reason I'm bringing this with me is because, one, I've been meaning to reread it for a while and it kind of got bumped up on my TBR after I saw it was on the New York Times Top 100 list. I literally don't remember anything from this book except the fact that it was really fucking good, and I was like, I should probably reread it so I can like remember what all the hype was about. Like I said, I read this book the beginning of my sophomore year, and for me the beginning of sophomore year was kind of like the beginning of high school for me because I spent all of freshman year on Zoom. So when I read that book during that time, this book is very reminiscent of just kind of starting a new chapter in my life, and so I feel like bringing this book with me to again start a new chapter of my life is very like full circle. You know how you just kind of associate certain memories and feelings with, you know, books or objects or just, you know, things in general? That's how it is with me. Starting over and new beginnings is kind of associated with this book for me, so that's kind of why I want to bring it. And also, it's a thick book. It's very long. I wanted to bring books on the longer side because I wanted to pick books that would kind of sustain me, books where I can read for a while, because I feel like reading short books that would cause me to finish fast would just make me buy even more books that I don't really have room for. So I wanted to pick longer books that would give me just more time to digest and read. So the next book I'm bringing is actually another Donna Tartt book. It is The Secret History. Y'all know by this point, like, this is my favorite book of all time. I'm practically bringing this book because it's just like a physical extension of who I am, especially if I'm gonna go live in a whole place for like basically another year, I'm bringing this book with me. I've also, again, been meaning to reread it for a while, and I feel like it's very good for like fall and like college campus lifestyle, you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm gonna join like a super exclusive Greek club and like start doing cult-like things or whatever, but this book for me just very much is like the main character romanticizing his cute little college, and I very much need to romanticize my cute little college, so I feel like kind of emulating that vibe from Richard Papin might help me a little bit. Basically, this is my favorite book of all time. It would be weird if I just like didn't bring it with me, you know? Next book I'm bringing is Normal People by Sally Rooney, another one of my favorite books. This is one of the books that I've like to reread at least once or twice a year, and I'm pretty sure I've read this book at least 5 or 6 times by this point, maybe more. So yeah, I'm gonna bring this with me. I'm eventually gonna reread this at some point in the fall. Like fall, December is the best time to reread this book, I think. Sally Rooney girls, like, come find me on campus. Like, we can talk, we can hang out, we can be best friends. And because it's so popular, I feel like it's also a really good conversation starter, because a lot of people know about this book, or they know about the show, or they know about Paul Mescal or Daisy Edgar Jones. Speaking of Daisy Edgar Jones, I actually went to go see Twisters by myself because I have nobody else to go see movies with. But I went to go see Twisters, and it was surprisingly good. I also kind of forgot like how insanely pretty Daisy Edgar Jones is, and Glenn Powell was like, he was pretty good in that movie too. Like, I kind of wish he took his shirt off, but anyways, this is also one of those books where, again, I feel like every time I reread it, I kind of just gain a new perspective on it. I feel like it just gets better with time and with each reread, so I'm definitely bringing this with me. So moving on to the next book, I have Persuasion by Jane Austen. So I haven't read this book yet. It's one of the books that is on my TBR. I just recently finished Sense and Sensibility a couple weeks ago, and I like to just kind of have a Jane Austen book in rotation within like what I'm currently reading, because it always takes me like a very long time to finish her books. It takes me a couple months. So again, this is kind of more of a slow-paced story that will take me a longer time to finish but still leave me feeling more accomplished. I have been wanting to read Persuasion ever since Dakota Johnson adaptation of it came out like a year or two ago, and everybody absolutely started flaming it. And also, I think the trope of like estranged exes to possible lovers, I've really been feeling that trope lately. I don't know why I've been getting into second chance romances so much. I honestly think it started with like Happy Place and You Deserve Each Other, because those books were second chance romance and they were really fucking good. I just love Miss Austen, and I really want to watch the Persuasion movie to see how bad it is, but I need to read the book first. Next book I'm bringing is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Y'all know I had to bring at least one rom-com book with me, and of course it's gonna be Emily Henry, and of course it's gonna be Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This is one of my favorite romance books of all time. This is my favorite Emily Henry of all time. I reread this every single time I'm feeling like depressed, or I need comfort, or I need to believe that love is real again. And let's be honest, I'm probably inevitably gonna get either depressed, bored, or both during my first year. So I want to bring a book where I can reread it and feel comfort and feel happy and feel motivated to do something, and this book is it for me. I also am a little worried that this is the only romance book I'm bringing. I read a lot of romance, and so I'm kind of worried that like just one romance book isn't gonna cut it. But then again, I'm like, I can always just come back home and pick up whatever romance book I want, or let's be real, I'm probably gonna buy more books while I'm living on campus anyways. So I think this is just kind of a good safe pick for me to bring in terms of romance. The next book I want to bring is A Visit from the Goon Squad by Jennifer Egan. This has been on my TBR for so fucking long. I think I literally bought this book maybe a year or two ago, and it's probably in one of my past videos, but it got moved up on my TBR because of the New York Times Top 100 list of the 21st century. Ever since that list came out, I've been like trying to check off as many of those books as I can that I already have. I also just like that it's one of those like puzzle piece kind of stories, you know, where all the characters are like seemingly random but they fit in together. And I feel like by bringing books that are on my TBR with me when I have such few books to choose from, it's gonna force me to actually read them. I'm hoping it's also gonna be another good conversational starter, because I know this book is very popular and very beloved. I mean, it's winner of the fucking Pulitzer Prize, which is crazy. And then the next book I want to bring is A Cage Went in Search of a Bird, and it's by a bunch of different authors, but basically it's a short story collection of 10 different stories that are like Kafka-esque, so they're inspired by Kafka. And have I ever read Kafka? no. But I went book shopping the other day and I was gonna get Cleopatra and Frankenstein, but then I saw this book and I decided on getting this one because it was cheaper, but also because I love short story collections. I need to have at least one short story collection in my rotation as well, because I feel like for me short story collections are a good way to read something and feel accomplished because you feel like you've finished reading it because they're so short, and also because I feel like short story collections for me also serve as really great inspiration for like stories I'm writing and stuff like that, because I like to write from time to time. I prefer stories that are more like the abstract, abnormal side, and I feel like this will definitely give me that. You know, I saw a couple names that I kind of recognize, but the one I recognized the most was Elif Botman, which brings me to my last book. The last book I will be bringing is The Idiot by Elif Botman. I don't have it with me currently because my sister is reading it and she is in another state. I wanted to bring that book because I heard it's a very good book to read for like kind of the first year of college. I had a friend tell me like, Sabrina, you need to read this book before college starts because it's going to completely change your worldview, blah 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 blah. So I didn't listen to that friend, and college does start in 2 weeks and I still have not read it, but I'm gonna fix that just by reading it throughout the school year. And again, by bringing a book that I haven't read forever as one of the very few limited books that I'm bringing with me, I feel like that will force me to read it, you know, so we should hopefully be good. Yeah, that is all the books that I'm planning on bringing with me to college. I'm a little scared because I feel like this is actually too many books to bring with me, and I feel like I should be picking, you know, books that I like to reread more, books that are like favorites more, but I also kind of wanted to pick books that like give off the kind of impression I want them to, which is like so superficial, blah 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 blah. I don't fucking care. Okay, I'm about to enter one of, I think, the scariest phases of my life where I'm going to be meeting so many new people. I want them to have a good impression of me, and I feel like this collection of books will give them hopefully the correct impression I want to give off, you know. But yeah, I think this will probably be like my last video in this setup, maybe, we'll see, which is kind of sad, which again, not gonna think about that. But yeah, I'm hoping to continue these videos like in my dorm room. Let me know again if you guys want to see like a dorm room tour, like a day in my life as a college student. Like, we'll see where it goes. But yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to say. If you watched this entire video, thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, you know, subscribe. Thanks again, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.